Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna do some crafting. Obviously, right? I'm gonna do some nervous crafting because we are waiting the arrival of our third grandchild, and it's our first granddaughter, so that's exciting. And I need to keep busy, if not I'm gonna go crazy. So here's what we're gonna do. I was thinking, I'm going to bring this over just to have a reference, that I wanted to make kind of a bookmark, but a bookmark that the pretty side ends up on the outside of the book, and something that I can maybe make a little notepad and put inside. So kind of like if I'm reading outside or something and anybody calls or I want to jot something down, I'll have a little notepad there with a pen and whatnot. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do. Whether I'm going to succeed is a whole different thing. But that's what we're going to do. And we might make the notepad ourselves with the We Are Memory Keepers. I forgot the name of it. Thing that you make the little booklets with and you seal it. Thermal. You know what? It'll come to me later. Telling you, my brain is all over the place. Okay, so what we're going to start off with is a piece of card, which I cut already because I was giving it some thought early this morning. And I cut this at 6 3/4 by 6 1/2 almost. Right? So I want this to be maybe 3 inches because it's depending on the size of the book. If you have a smaller book, you don't want it to be huge, right? So I figured that was a good size. All right, so I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna score it at 3 inches and 3 1/2. So basically this is going to be our cover, which is going to have a lot of layers to it, so it will be much thicker than this. Let me get my other embossing and my bone folder. And we can choose if we want to give it like round edges or whatever, which I might, just because I know those edges are going to give me a paper cut. Okay, but we can do that afterwards when we have our panels in place. So I mean, this is basically going to be the little booklet, and I left another piece out so we can kind of make like a belt for the magnet, so we could close it, a closure. I think that would be a good way to open and close this. So you basically end up with 3 by 6 3/4 by 1/2 inch little bookmark. Bookmark, notepad, whatever you want to call it. All right, so ooh, we can even put a dangle on the side of it. I think this is going to be super cute. And because I had made a little bee bookmark that you can put on the side, and I did this with Cricut. Let's see. So you can put it like, I'm gonna make sure that I didn't glue it all in. So it's like it'll hold your book. Isn't that cute? It'll hold your page. I figured that I would make this kind of a bee theme also, right? And what's neat is that the big box that I got from Diamond Press had a bunch of little bees in it. So we may not have to do a lot of coloring and stuff, which I was trying to avoid today. I don't think I'll be able to color right today. I want to more concentrate on decoration and the structure of this. So yeah. So far we have it like the cover made, right? Now we have to figure out everything else. All right, let me get some cardstock and I'll be right back. Okay, so I don't know about all of you, but I'm always looking for what's missing. So I had this white elastic that was thicker that could easily fit around here. And I can't find it. I don't know what I did with it. I have a whole room and I'm always losing things. Anyway, so we're just gonna adjust. And even if I have to make this one with ribbon, just to get it done, because I was thinking about adding this elastic, but it's not gonna match and that's gonna drive me crazy. So that's out of the question. Yeah, so we'll just use ribbon and hopefully it appears. I most likely will stop the video again and go search in a couple of other places before I give up. And in fact, let me do that now. Okay, so for the life of me, I cannot find. Oh, I cannot find that, no matter how hard I try. So what we're going to do is we're going to use ribbon, but instead of gluing the whole thing down, I think I'm just gonna glue my panel, one of my panels, just enough to let the ribbon in, so that if I find the elastic, I can go ahead and switch it out. I mean, it's the only thing I can think of right now. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna cut some white panels at 3 by 6 3/4, or maybe a little smaller, and I'll be right back. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, because I want to keep with the bee theme, so I can use this also with this whole thing, I'm gonna go ahead and stencil with the honeycomb from Diamond Press. Now I have a real one, yay! So I just gotta figure out how I want it. And I just may put it down like that. And oh, let me get some ink, some yellows, mustard seed, fossilized amber, a little bit of squeezed lemonade, and we could even bring a little bit of orange in just in case we need to darken up our edges. And then let's get some brushes here. All right, got those. All right, we're gonna start coloring this thing in. And I'm just gonna hold it down, but I'm gonna put yellow, the light yellow, on first. I've done this before. I'm using another honeycomb stencil, so this should go fairly easy, but you want to tone down that white because it can be a bit much. And we have that. And let's just keep bringing color in. And now let's add our darker tones. And I'm just gonna gradually step it up. So we're gonna go with mustard seed first because I think it's lighter. Yes, a little bit. So let's go ahead and add some of that in. And I'm going to go in different places, so we could just bring in a little bit of all of the colors. And now we could go with our fossilized amber, just a little darker. we could even bring in a little bit of the orange, just a little bit. Just to darken those edges a little bit. Kind of blends in with the yellow, so it's not really like super orange. Color's Carved Pumpkin. Okay, I think we're pretty good. Maybe add a little bit more yellow here, and ta-da, that's it. Okay, let me clean up and I'll be right back. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and cut down a little black background. So that's going to be closer to the size, right? This is 6 3/4, so maybe there. Let's see. This is a little bit big. Let's trim that down about 1/4 inch. So we have that cut, and then we can trim our panel down a little bit and put that one on top, and it's gonna look cute. Okay. I'm gonna take like 1/8 of an inch off on each side. That's perfect. So we have just a little border. We can't do anything yet with it because we still have to figure out where we're going to put our magnet. So this would go here. And now we just need to see how we're going to wrap this around for our magnet. Maybe making a thicker one, because we're going to put a design on top of it anyway. Maybe we should use this thick black card. That may work. Okay. Let's cut off about 1 inch. A little more than 1 inch. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, I think that's gonna look good. Just that big contrast, right? Okay. And we can layer that up too, but first we have to figure out the size. I think I'm gonna let it, it's 3 inches. Let's see. How far do I want it? Yeah, maybe half of it, 1.5 inches. And then the size is, I think it's 1/2 inch. Yeah. pull that, and then this will go here. So obviously this is going to open up. There's going to be stuff inside of it. So we end up with something like that. And then we could glue a design onto it. All right, we're going to glue our magnet here, and then we'll figure out what pattern we're going to put on top. If we use a pattern or we just glue something that we can put a sentiment on, or you know, some kind of saying, something positive. All right, let me find some dies and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're gonna kind of flip this around because I think I'm gonna need more of the strip in order to glue this down and have it stay put, right? Okay, so that doesn't matter because we could trim that. All right, but for this, we're gonna cut this one in white, in black. Maybe this one in, yeah, let's do yellow, and then top one in white, because I always like my sentiments to pop a little bit. So let's go ahead and cut this one down. And I'm also gonna cut one for the other side. So I think the thinner paper I'm gonna put on the other side so the magnet could take, and then I'll use the thicker card for the outside just to give it a little bulk. All right, where's my scissors? Okay, so we have that one, and then we'll grab a piece of this one and also cut that. So let's cut these down. Right. I love these dies. I use them a lot. I'm pretty sure you guys have noticed. They're in a lot of my makes. This for the top and this one for the bottom, and we'll sandwich this in between. Okay, and then I need some yellow card. Let's see if I have any available here. Yes, I do. No, that's too thin. Let's see. This one is thicker. It's light, very, very light card. Let me find some thicker card. I'll be right back. Okay, so we have these cut. And like I said, I wanted to sandwich the magnet in between these two. So what I first have to do is see how far in I'm gonna need this thing to go. And if this is here, then I want to mark it. Let me find a pencil. I want to mark it somewhere in the middle. I'm not going to glue anything until I am sure. But I think more or less here. And then I'll find out the center, and then yeah, we can put that a mark so I know where to do my magnet. Okay, I could take this one out since they're the same size. And if this is here, let's double check. I'm going to put it on this side since it already has a shape. I think that's a good place. Let's find our center. And okay, so basically there. This is where everything is going to get glued. All right. So I'm going to take my magnet and I'm going to have to trim this a little bit. So let me just do that now. And let's get a magnet. This is our center. Actually, I could just glue it on this side. No, because I want that thing covering it. So we're going to glue it here. Let me put a little bit of glue. And now we can line this up. And we can glue that in place. All right. Avoid that part. Okay. Clean that up. And I'm going to hold it there for a second so it can really set around the magnet. Okay, be right back. Okay, so I kind of marked this and I didn't have to mark it, so it is what it is. Let's put our first layer in. And let me make sure I got the right one. Yes, I do. Okay, we have that. And then this guy will go here. But before we do that, we have to make sure that we put our magnet in. So I'm going to put this way instead. I'm going to measure it. basically looking for that center. And then I'm going to do it about here. So we're going to glue our magnet just about there. Yeah, not rocket science. All right, I just need to make sure that no matter what side I put it on, see, it's going to stick. So it has to be this way. All right. All right. And now we can glue this guy down. Let's flip it over and we're going to press. I stepped down my panels just like an 1/8 of an inch. You can do it, I mean, whatever you like. A lot of people like 1/4, some people like an 1/8. Okay, let's give that a second. And then that's how it's going to close. And it worked. Great. So it's a soft closure, but it works. And now we can go ahead and put our little top panel on to make that a little thicker, and then we can add these guys. So we may add, actually no, because I layered this one twice, so it'll be thicker, and it just will rise everything up a little bit more. Isn't that pretty? All right, let's glue this guy in place. I love it when a plan starts to come together. All right. Okay. So we have that, and of course let us glue these two guys together, since I almost forgot that I cut 2 out on purpose. So let me make sure those glue, and then we'll do the same to the other side. Let's add this one. I'm glad I didn't stick this down because it's easier to maneuver like this. Okay. Right, let me find a sentiment and I'll be right back. I honestly think this is the messiest I've ever had my desk. I cut a piece of yellow card, and I think I'm just going to try embossing the back, embossing the yellow for the back of the card. I don't feel like inking it just to have it face nothing, and I don't want any ink rubbing on any book, so I think this might work, hopefully. And I might just, let me run it through like this, because I mean it might have enough pressure. And if not, we can put another piece of card under it. This is just the stencil, because I don't have a honeycomb embossing folder, so gotta improvise. Oh, it worked. Okay, so this is going to be our back panel. So we're going to layer this on here. And then this gets glued here. And then we're going to sandwich the ribbon in between. And remember, I'm not going to glue it all the way. So there's going to be a little give for the ribbon, but it's just in case I find my my elastic. That elusive elastic. Okay. And then we can make a little trim for here. And then after that, we can work on the inside. So I'm just going to glue this. I mean, it's just repetition at this point, right? So that we can start working on the inside, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm just trying to clean up a little bit. So we have the back done. And it kind of got a little stuck there, so I may have to leave it. Well, I'll just separate a little because it's like really on the top that it got stuck. But anyway, the ribbon is there. And I left it long enough because I don't know if I want to tie it on the bottom or on the top or inside the book. So at least we have enough space to decide. But look how good it looks. So we have that texture in the back. I don't have to worry about ink ruining my book. I did put a little strip that's just a little bit less than, a teeny bit less than half an inch. And it was at a teeny bit less than 6 3/4, just to strengthen that spine, right? So now we have the inside, and I would have done a thicker card on this part, but then it wouldn't, the magnet wouldn't catch, so have to leave it like that. Anyway, so we're going to work on the tag that goes here and then deciding what to do next. Do we use those stickers that came in the kit from Diamond Press, or do we just use the stamp that has to do with this guy? Let's see. Because I can always just put it either on the top or on the bottom. And then maybe we could stamp this a couple of times around. So maybe there. And then just bring another one coming down somewhere. Or not. I don't know. But I definitely want a bee on it, right? And then the stamp says be happy. Because happiness is a choice. So, yeah, I'm kind of really digging the way this is coming out. So on the inside, I'm going to use the thermal binder to make a little booklet for the inside, and I just got to figure out if I want to do a pocket or if I want to glue the book on. I think maybe a pocket might be best, because then if I ever change, you know, I want to change booklets, I can. If I adhere it, I'm stuck. And then maybe we can just decorate this side and put a little pocket to put maybe our little bookmark. That'll fit. Okay, so we're going to use a paper. Let's see. So I found this paper in that set, and it just, you know, prevents me from having to go ahead and cut the same stuff over and over again. So I think this is going to be enough to decorate the side panel and also make our booklet, because I mean, you could change direction on this. I mean, I could just do them that way if I wanted to. But I think for this side, I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and if we wanted to, we can use this side to help make our pocket. So we tie in some of that blue, or we can just use the black color to do that. Make a little pocket there, right? A little cute. And then we'll do our book cover with it. That's what I have in mind so far. Okay, so let's cut this down. Oh, it's gonna hurt me to cut this paper, but I have to do it. Okay. So I'm just gonna play it safe and just cut it a little bit less than, let's see, 6 3/4 actually, yeah. Let's just do that. And then we're gonna cut at a little less than 3 inches. So we'll see if we need to trim it down. That'll be our inside panel. Yeah, we'll have to trim it down just a tad. Okay, so we have that. And now we can cut the side that's gonna hold, kind of make it like a pocket, right? Do I have a die that'll work? I do, but I have no idea where it's at. But if we use even like this circle die, right? So if I have a bigger one, I'll check. We could just do the angle, and that could be our pocket. It has to. Sometimes I feel like one more time saying I'll be right back and actually creating. Yeah, no, that's the biggest size. So let's cut this down. I want to make sure that I have an edge that's nice. Okay. And then we're just going to cut this at an angle. Just maybe like right there, just to make a small pocket. Take that down. This chair is so squeaky, it's driving me crazy. All right. Okay. So we have that. And then we can just glue it down. And then we have a small little pocket that can hold our bee. Something that'll just hold it. So when we're not using it, it has some place to be. Get it? Bee. All right. Let's glue this down. You don't have to make a fuss out of the inside. Okay. Just kind of sticking with the bee theme without having to ink anything else. Okay. All right, so we have that. Cute. And we can cut another strip for here. Let's see. I guess we'll use this one. Even though it's not as thick. eyeball a lot. There we go. That's good. And let's see. Take it off from this end. So let's glue that in place. Okay, so we have that, and now we can work on this panel. So this is going to be the part that I have to think about. All right, so we have to make a little booklet, right? I have to find some paper that I can write on, and I have to get my cinch out and some other papers. Okay, I'll get that going and I'll be right back. Okay, so we have to cut out our cover for our booklet, and we have to trim this down a little bit. Okay, I got this paper from one of those Dollar Tree books. Maybe we just cut this line. All right, that way I don't have to think too much about what I'm cutting. All right, let's just clean that up. Okay, and I have to do the same to this one. All right, this should be about good to go. And then it's gonna fit right there. It's gonna make the perfect size book. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this one. Actually, I'm gonna cut it this side because I want more bees to show. Maybe the bees are overkill, but why not? And let me see about this size. So maybe we'll do it at 2 3/4. Let me see how that fits. Just a little big, which is fine. I don't want it to be perfect. And then this one has to be at 2 3/4 as well. And it's right there. Just gotta trim it a teeny bit. Okay, so we have our front and our back, and then we have our papers in the center. So we're gonna use one of these. Maybe we'll use a thinner one. Okay. So it's 2 3/4. And let's make it at see, this is a tough part. Let me score first. Okay, I have a small scoreboard we can use. Okay, I think I'm gonna have it hanging down maybe 3/4 of an inch. and then maybe make it a 1/4 inch thick. Yeah, let me see if that fits my glue. Yeah, it's about a 1/4. All right, so we'll do it at 1 inch. And then another 3/4. So this is where we're gonna cut. Okay. So we're gonna put our glue on it. Let's put this there. Should we get that straight? And then we could trim the excess. Okay. All right. So that's what we're going to need to bind our book. And then we could just bring this down a little bit. So when we bind it, it ends up something like this. But you could really use some more paper in there, because it's not filling it up at all. Maybe I could put like a couple of pieces of computer paper in it, so that if I want to draw something or sketch out an idea, I have that available too. Okay, let me get that and I'll be right back. This is trial and error right now. Okay, so we have our book made and our covers made, and we have the tab made. Now you're gonna have to come back and glue this and tape these down. You can do that beforehand if you want, which maybe I'll do while that thing warms up, so that everything sticks properly. Let's see. All right. Let me put some tape here. And some tape there. And I'm going to tape my covers on. Okay. Let's do the other side. Okay, and now let's put these into place. I'm not really concerned that it's not all even. It's fine as long as this part works, then we're good. All right, let's fold this over. Let's tap, tap, tap. And I'm gonna put a paper clip, and we're gonna, let's see, push that in. How do I know the timer's on? Blinking light will beep when machine is ready. Place book. Blinking light will beep when the book is ready. Okay. Guess it'll beep. Okay, I'll be back when it beeps because it's going to take a... Oh, never mind. Okay, we're going to have to let it cool down anyway, so I'll be back when it's cool. Okay, so this is what we have so far. And now we have to make a pocket for the inside. I mean, I would have covered this more, but I don't think I have to because I don't think you're going to see any of it. Honestly, I don't. So I'm just going to make kind of a long pocket so that we could slip the last page of the booklet in and it doesn't fall out. Okay, so I'm going to use this. Let me get a scoreboard. And I'm just going to flip this over. Okay, or maybe just flip it over this way so I can line it up right. All right, so I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch. And then it's 3 inches, right? So 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, yeah. And then we could trim that. And then we're going to turn it. And we're going to score it at 1/2 inch again. And now we could cut that down. All right. We can make it about 4 inches. I don't want it to flop around, so maybe a little bigger, 4.5. So it'll just slide in and stay there. You could cut this down also. That way it's pretty even. All right. I have so much junk around me. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of trim this. And then we're gonna take a little off of these. So this way, if we run out of paper, we can replace it. Trim this down a little bit more so it doesn't get in each other's way. Okay. All right. So we can glue this down. And we're going to get some glue. Of course, it would get clogged. It's funny how no matter how much I pin my hair back, every time I bring my glasses down, I pull it back down. Because I have bangs. But they get in my way. Okay, see if it works now. You could put another layer if you want, but again, you're really not going to see it, so I don't think it's necessary. Besides, sometimes just like a nice white border is nice. Good enough. All right, let's put that down and hold it there for a minute. And hopefully that makes a pocket that holds our book perfectly. Look at how cute. Okay, we still have to add a pen. And you see, that's why I wanted my elastic, because I could have just looped it and glued it to the back and pinned it. But I think I have, let me see if I have those pen holders. I'm thinking. Let me see. I think I had one that had peeled off of somewhere, but I can probably use it and glue it. Let me try to find that. Okay, can't find that either. I guess it's hanging out with the elastic. You know, if you ever want to find something, don't look for it. Then you'll find it. All right, so we're gonna stamp this. It says "Be happy," and I was gonna emboss it, but you know what? I'm not. Just don't feel like doing that now. This is ran very long, so let's just try to finish her up. Okay. Let's do it one more time. I think this ink is drying out on me. Okay, good enough. So we have that. And that's gonna go there. We could put some little gems around it. And we have to see if we want to add a V somewhere. And where I was thinking was maybe here. Or we could just use some of these and not have to do that. Or we can add some of these. Maybe we could just put this one up here. If there's a smaller one that way, that would be better. Let me see. Yeah, I think we have a smaller one. That way it's not hanging off too much so that it doesn't get snagged on anything. So maybe we'll just do that. Keep it simple, right? Sometimes simple is best. We can add some little gems around there. Okay, let's glue. So we have that. And then what we can do is that we can make another set like this to put on the inside of the book, right? And then we can add another bee in there if we need it. But I just wanted to break up a little bit of the pattern, so maybe doing a decoration for the book would be fine. And then of course we're gonna add something to hold our pen, and that will be it. Isn't that cute? Of course, with the elastic, you will be able to use it as a bookmark, right? Because you just put your pages. Let me see if I can find a book. Okay, so let's say this is our book, and we could just add it there. But with the elastic, you can actually go between the pages, even though you could do it with the ribbon too, but I think it's going to be more of a pain. Right? Let me see. I should have used this paper. It would have been easier to cut, but all right. So if you do use this, if you want to keep the ribbon, then you just tie a bow. But I really want to use the elastic, so I'm going to look for that. If not, I'll order some. I really like the way this came out. So then you can jot down notes. You have a bookmark if you want to save another page, or if there's a quote that you like. And we're done. It only took an hour. All right, guys. I hope you liked it. I'll try to shrink the video down a little bit. And I'll talk to you real soon. And hopefully with my head straight, because by then my granddaughter should be here. All right. Have a great one. Bye.